Hello and welcome to 1973 GMC Motorhome episode 26. Today we're going to be removing the original final drive and putting in our rebuilt final drive with the different ratio. We're going from the 307 to the 370. So this is my goal for today, and let's see how it goes. Okay, first we're getting all these 11mm/7/16 bolts off these CV axles. We'll just go around and get them one off at a time. On this side, that's the first thing we're going to do. Okay, so this is loose. I've got the wheel turned slightly to the right. I can actually push this up and all the way out of the way so that this is clear to come out. Now we don't want that to drop. Okay, so here's the donor motor. I've gotten the top bolt out. And the stud, that's the one that people say you need a bent wrench for. I was able to get out with a straight wrench. The next one up, which seems really impossible to get on this motor, was not in there. So I'm going to loosen everything and see if that thing's going to move. And hopefully that upper bolt is not in fact in there. That would be kind of fantastic. So that's what's happening with that. Okay, so I've got my jack set up, I got my drip pan under there, and I can't film any of this with this stupid iPad, so we're going to take off the last bottom bolt, which is right there. That's where that is, but you can't see it. And then we are going to see if this thing drops a little bit. If it does, that means that other bolt up in there is not in there, and then we can take this off. Okay, so now I've taken the wheel well out, and if you see, you can't really see, but basically on the other side of those lines, it's very hard to see, but there is the beginnings of the top bolt. So I can get it from this side. Well, you gotta take the whole wheel well out in the wheel, and you can lean over and see it, but that's it up in there. Okay, so wheel well is out. And there you can see that right there, it's a nut over another stud. That right there. So that's got to come out. Okay, this is a better shot. That right there is a nut over a stud. So we got to get that nut out of there, and then this thing will come out. But I had to take the wheel well out to get to it. This is the access point, basically. The way to do it. Alright, I've made a little shorty wrench here to get back in there and reach through. And where's my wrench? There it is. Okay, I got it off. You got to kind of pull it out, pry it off of that thing, pry it down, and pull it out and pry it down, and then eventually it'll come out, and then you have to twist it to make it come out. So it does come out though, without too much effort, but a lot of prying and slowly dropping and twisting. And I dropped it down on the jack. Alright, that's what it is. It's Permatex. It used to have a different name, but now it's Permatex gasket shellac. And then you have your gasket. That is the gasket number, should anyone need one of these gaskets. I bet you this fits the 79 through 85 Eldorados and Sevilles and Rivieras and stuff like that, because they made those front-wheel drive for a minute. Okay. Alright, we've got all the old gasket material off of there, and it's clean. Very low resolution iPad. This will be the last video I make on this. Sorry to keep commenting on it, but my phone's all shaky, and then this thing's got horrible resolution, but you get the idea what's going on here. So there's lots of videos on jacking these things up off the ground. I've got it just barely high enough to do stuff, and in hindsight that would be up a little bit more, like maybe go around ones and bring it up some more. I always have a jack under where I'm working, but when I put the final drive on that, I can't push it under because I hit stuff. So I have to get the final drive under there and then lift it up onto that, which is not fun, but it's doable. I'm going to clean that thing off. Okay, we're going to use the skateboard to slide it under the coach and transfer it to the jack. That's the last time I'll probably ever see this surface on this final drive, I hope. Okay, so it's 6:36, pretty much done for the day. That's just a little trick when you don't want things to spin. When I'm tightening up the 12-point bolts on the CV axles to the flanges, that's what I do to keep it from spinning. And here we are. That's our new 370 front final drive differential. I got everything bolted up, bolted back up. See that goo under there? That's hard goo. This thing might have had a hole in the oil pan at one point, and then there's also, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't see it, but see that? There's a welded patch in the bottom of my transmission pan. So that's some new stuff that I didn't see. But anyway, we're all done under here. That's all my transmission fluid that I caught in a piece of gasket. So I'll put that in one of my various cans and see how much exactly came out of there. And then I can replace that with Dexron 3. And let's see, I got that from Applied GMC, by the way. And I got the gears from Applied GMC. This poor thing is a mess. But we're going to... It's almost not a mess anymore. We're almost done. We've done a lot of stuff to this since our first camping trip. Just wanted to point out here, that is before wet sanding and looks terrible. There was so much heat the paint just couldn't take it. Then you go over to here, that's an area where I wet sanded it. It does come out nice and smooth. I wet sanded this door too. You can't really see with this thing here, but that's smooth, smooth, smooth. And then rough, rough, rough. Alright, that's enough for today. I'm going to continue the next free time I have. Okay. There goes nothing. We're rolling. I mean, it's nice and quiet. I don't know, maybe this side won't be spinning. Spinning both sides. Okay. Nothing dripping out of anywhere. So no grinding, no whining, no noise really. So that's a good initial test. Okay, now we're back down on the ground. So let's go take a ride. I think today we're going to paint the bottom of this too. And then that'll be done. Tired of looking at that mess right there. Okay,
see what happens.
So, the seat of the pants test, definitely a difference. Just doesn't feel like I have to give it any gas really to get it going. So, I think it's happier. There's no noise from the differential. I'm not hearing any whining or anything. I haven't gotten it to highway speed, but I mean, maybe I hear a little bit when I'm coasting. Anyway, so far so good. We're gonna get this in position to paint. So anyway, here's my new floor without wires all over the place. I got my oil pressure working. I got that working. My voltmeter rather. My radio. I can turn my radio on, and then usually the power comes on there. So that's good. Anyway, now let's paint the bottom of this thing. Okay, so this morning I finished the bag and shoot bottom half. Not bad. We got us a 10-footer here for sure. So I got to put my tag back on, a couple errant pieces of tape, and while I was taking stuff off, of course, piece of tape still up there. I was so happy with this side, and then the bag I had around the tire blew back up and got on that, so I think I could probably just wet sand that out. So I think this concludes this episode of our final drive rebuild and painting the bottom. We're going camping in a little more than 2 weeks now, so now all I gotta do is drive this thing and make sure that the final drive isn't going to blow up. The white paint on the bottom flowed out much better. I adjusted my gun because the top, it was too dry last time. So that's won't have to do anything with that. There's my original final drive, which will go back in an emergency. I sure hope not. But this new final drive seems to be pretty good. There's my headlight bezels that'll go in when this is dry. I did pull all the tape off and stuff. So, you know, it's what to be expected. I did zero body work, as you can see by the blobs there. And this was another thing, that bag, I don't know why I wrapped a bag around there. And this is the only area I got runs in the whole thing. So, but this is the kind of thing that you get when you do things on the cheap, but it sure looks a lot better than when I first got it. And now it's going to run really good. I'm not going to feel embarrassed driving it around. I'm going to feel pretty proud of that because I think that looks pretty good. From the distance, most people are going to see it. They're going to say, that's cool. I can go around the window trim and probably paint that black. That'll help. But getting ready for our next trip. So that ends that episode. That's 26. And we'll see you next time.